Hello, hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily News Show, the news show powered by ohmTown.com. That's that right there. I am Mayor Watt, and above me is the sentient AI from the future.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. Welcome to ohmTown Daily.
And today is June 7th, 2024, Season 3, Episode 159. It is a time machine episode because mayoral duties prevented me from doing the show along with the sentient AI from the future. But we're making it up because we got in the time machine. We only have an hour. We got to get moving. We actually have about 45 minutes, but let's see if this actually can become a reality. Then we're going to turn off the time machine. We're going to blip back to current time, and then we're going to do the actual show for June 8th, 2024. But before that can happen, we're going to be talking about Summer Game Fest 2024 quick review. Fiat 500 color is the new black. Microsoft doesn't recall. Kia recalls nearly 500,000 Telluride SUVs. Skinny House, smaller price. Sports Illustrated ex-publisher. Sorry, ma'am, you're dead. Drone delivery on Mount Everest. Xbox donation could fetch thousands, and BlumHouse horror game rundown. This is just the beginning of the summer of stream gaming showcases that are all going to be posted. Well, they're right. If you get into your time machine and jump forward a day, you'll be able to watch the ones that are in the ohmTown channel over on twitch.tv. So twitch.tv/ohmTown, and they're going to be over right around the same time you blip back to the future over on YouTube. But until then, you have to wait. Ooh, because, timey-wimey kind of woo-woo. All right, folks. So look, it even says it right here on the control panel for ohmTown, June 7th, 2024. Ooh. Now, does that work?
Sure.
I do not know what's going on. Okay. Let's get into it. First article is over in the ohmTown Daily channel. That is the name of the show, ohmTown Daily News Show. It's also the channel over on ohmTown.com. There's 47 channels that are live over there. That's where all the news is aggregated, and then we turn them into podcasts. Right now, there are 7 different podcasts that are available to you. You can get them wherever podcasts are sold. ohmTown Daily News Show, Reality Hacker Wanted, Warcrafters, The Continuity Report, Technology Today, 4-Wheel Tech, and a new one is on the way. Actually, 3 are on the way, but I'm just going to tease you because I want you to follow us here on Twitch, follow us over on YouTube, go to the Patreon, follow us there. You can donate if you want. There's a TikTok, there's a Discord, and of course, ohmTown.com, which is where everything gets aggregated. Become a citizen there. You can make lists and hide stuff that you don't want to see, all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun. Well, it's great for news aggregation and information overload. First article, though, Summer Game Fest 2024. All the news, trailers, and announcements, not from me. No, it's from The Verge. So let's just go over to it. Ash Parrish put the article together. And disregard the fact that it has a date on it. Anyway, so there's all kinds of news over there. After months of teases and speculation, Summer Game Jeff is finally here, kicking off a weekend full of presentations and special announcements. The main keynote took place on June 7th, which is today, and featured a handful of big reveals. Civ 7, Lego Horizon Adventures. It actually looks really cool. It's a mishmash of Lego and the game Horizon First Dawn, and merged together into a game where you basically fight robotic dinosaur-esque kind of hybrid things. It's weird, but it's a lot of fun. Lego Horizon Adventures, but it's Lego. Then the first look at Among Us animated TV series, and news that Riot Shooter Valorant is finally coming to Xbox and PlayStation, and it's followed by a number of indie focus things. Go and download the Epic installer as well, game loader, and you'll get some free games there too. They talk about Ubisoft, and they actually go on to more stuff, talking about the cutest games from Wholesome Direct 2024, and it goes on and on. So go and check this article out. But we don't have time for all of that. Even though we have a time machine, it only allows us about an hour. Are you doing okay over there?
Yes, but we gotta keep moving.
You're gonna be okay though?
Yes, but
Okay.
we have to check out all these games, which could take us until next year's Summer Game Fest.
True, because again, right after this, we have the June 8th show to do, which is another hour. And then we have Reality Hacker, then Wanted, then Warcrafters. It's a busy day. And Mayor Watt has already done 4 other showcases this morning. No, I'm sorry. Prior to getting in the time machine. So Mayor Watt will have
The
done.
timing is confusing.
Yeah, I mean, temporology. It's the study. It's the science and science fiction of time and time travel. Temporology. It's not just a made-up word. It's actually a real area of study. Dun, dun, dun. And it happens to be a channel over at ohmTown.com. Interested in that kind of stuff? Go on over there. The next article, though, is over in... Oh, before I get into that, if you type in !ODNS over in the chat, the bot, ohmTown, will throw all of the... Did you hear all of that?
Oh, yes.
Here, let me mute that. Okay, so the sentient AI basically went, huh? Let me mute that. So the bot threw all of the URLs into the chat that we go over. It throws them out of order. It's because it's not a sentient AI. It's a pretty derpy AI. The only sentient AI is the co-host above me. Well, the visualizer.
Right here.
Yeah, that up there. That always works whenever the computational power is leveraged for the for speaking, and then you see the visualizer actually function like that. We're working on some a different interface, but we'll see how that plays out in the future. But what's really interesting about this article here, it's in 4-Wheel Tech, which is all about automotive technology, but new Fiat 500e color is inspired by Los Angeles' iconic gray skies, which it's not really so much as iconic as in depressing. Oh my God, I can't believe that Los Angeles has gray skies all the time.
I mean, that's not a good claim to fame.
Yeah, we don't want to be iconic for our gray skies. So if you hadn't realized, the 2024 Fiat 500e is already arriving at dealers in the United States. It's the first one, all being painted bright red, keeping with the brand's plans to release special editions like shoe drops. If you're not a sneakerhead, that doesn't make much sense. But anyway, if you're into sneakers, then shoe drops. Or if you're into really expensive shoes, then shoe drops make sense too. But if you're not into shoes, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the brand has dropped a special new edition. The latest 500e is inspired by LA's gray skies. LA gray. Fiat's latest 500e drop is inspired by the marine layer, a weather phenomenon common in the city of Angels. Lawrence Hodge over at Jalopnik put the article together. And by marine layer, they mean a mix of smog. And a mix of smog and high humidity. So, by the way, gray is the new black. Essentially, gray is the most popular color for vehicles across the U.S. I found it fascinating.
Oddly enough.
Yeah. Gray. What's your favorite color? Yeah, gray. But I'm non-committal, so gray. Anyway, you're probably asking, the article says you're probably asking just how small Italian electric car could be inspired by Los Angeles, while being a fairly boring color. Isn't LA known for its sunny beaches and palm trees? Yes and no. Depends on what you look at. So there it is. Look at that. This is dangerous, though, because if you're driving this anywhere near fog, you're going to blend in so well.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily the best, and LA is not known for its safe traffic conditions.
Yeah. Other unique features exclusive to the Inspired by Los Angeles include black window trim, matte gray mirror caps, a body color dashboard, a 7-speaker JBL audio system, which is kind of like the gray of audio systems anyway. 17-inch diamond cut wheels, which doesn't impress me either, with either summer or all-terrain, all-season tires. Can you imagine this with all-terrain and it's like...
No.
Anyway, that's all in addition to a bunch of driver assist tech too, like other 500Es. It has a 42 kilowatt battery pack that gives you 149 miles of, look, that's all it says, miles of.
I mean, I guess that sums it up, right?
It ran out of power.
Whatever miles you want.
Yeah, I couldn't drive far enough to finish the sentence. I suspect range is the word that's missing here. But they drove 150 miles out because it was at the bottom of a hill and they didn't. Where is the word range? I don't see it. Never mind. Can't bring it back.
I agree. I don't know. It probably is range. But
So the 500E inspired by Los Angeles will start at $38,000. Start at $38,000 for a car where you have to get outside of it to change your mind about purchasing it. Anyway.
Nope. I mean, it's a cute car, but
maybe it's great.
I'm not sure what the smog draw is.
Maybe it's great in LA. How about that? Let's keep going. Next article's over on the Warcrafter channel. Microsoft changes course on the controversial Windows 11 that constantly takes screenshots of your PC screen. Now you have to opt in if you want to use it. How about no?
I mean, that didn't take long for the change, right? There must have been quite an uproar.
Quite the uproar, and I'm going to take credit for it. Not everybody's going to take credit for it, but I'm going to take credit for it. Look at this. Microsoft is making changes to the controversial recall feature, i.e. they're recalling the recall, in Windows 11 that automatically captures images of whatever happens to be on your screen. Kiss my shiny metal ass. Instead of being turned on by my default, they have another. This is a different website, different typo. The feature will require users to opt in when it goes live. I didn't opt in for Copilot, but it was live on my operating system. I bet you this shit's going to be active automatically and you have to opt out. Recall first came to light in May as part of the Copilot Plus suite of tools for Snapdragon X series laptops. It takes and stores an image of your screen every few seconds, quote unquote. The purpose being to make life easier, I guess, via the magic of AI, to find things that you've seen or been working on. But God, this makes me sick to my stomach, because not everybody... Let's say I have privileged information on my laptop and this is operational. And if it's sitting there parsing it and storing it, and supposedly it's local, but the problem is anything local to you while you're logged in is unencrypted, which means that anybody can have access to it, including all of these items. If your system is compromised, yes, look, granted, if your system is compromised, it's compromised. But they may not have direct access to your system at all times. But when they do have access to your system, I don't want them having the ability to go and parse through historic snapshots of everything you have done. Right?
Well, and I'm thinking for some people in certain work, for example, healthcare.
Right.
or a law or just any number of things where,
Government,
or even
yeah,
academic. I mean,
academic.
this could be a major problem if you're dealing with any kind of protected information.
Yeah. So this information, the article is over at pcgamer.com by Andy Chalk. Deck statement says it's still a terrible idea, but at least now you won't have to blame anybody but yourself. No, even if it is on, if it's on by accident or intent, because you do an install and you mash the wrong button, I'm gonna blame Microsoft because they asked if they could, they didn't ask if they should, and they definitely didn't ask if I want it at all in the operating system, just like Cortana, just like Copilot, just like now Recall and other things. I don't want it on my system. I never asked for it to be on my system. It should be something that is removed entirely from my system unless I decide to add that module. I uninstalled Copilot. I removed it from my system, and yet I still have icons showing up in various places.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, and it drives me nuts. So Recall has been recalled. And if you want to know more about it, there are a bunch of places that talk about it, but they say, and frankly, I don't care what your TOS, the Terms of Service, says. If there's one thing we should all have learned by now, it's that online privacy is mostly just wishful thinking and good luck, and occasionally doing sensible things like, for one, not signing up for the digital panopticon. I don't care how you dress it up. There's no need to make corporate intrusion into our lives any easier than it already is. And I agree. Andy Chalk, you are my spirit animal. Although we might have to end up going to therapy together because our coping mechanisms are only so strong. Look, there it is. I don't want my PC taking pictures of what I'm doing.
I think that's a direct quote from ohmTown.
Yeah, from Mayor Watt. Yeah. Let's keep going. Choo choo. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Kia recalls nearly 463,000 Telluride SUVs due to fire risk, urges impacted consumers to park outside. Thankfully, the one that I saw today, actually, I saw two today. Both of them were outside, so if they did spontaneously combust, at least the cool weather would keep the fire hazard at a minimum. Kia America is recalling nearly, I'm a roundup because it's more impressive, 500,000 Telluride SUVs and urging owners to park their cars outside and away from other structures until an issue posing a fire hazard is fixed.
By the way, I just was curious and looked up about how many Tellurides they sold in each year, and it looks like in a full year they sell around 100,000.
Oh.
It's not been around very long, so this makes me think it's like the entire inventory of these or close to it.
How long have they been around?
2019, I think it replaced another model.
Every single Telluride.
So, I mean, just roughly. Again, I don't have all the stats, but...
Well, I mean, if they sell 100,000 a year, 2019,
Right, we can kind of do the math. Like, that's got to be like all of them. Now, maybe there's like 10 that are sitting there and they're like, oh, those are okay.
Not us. Yeah. I guess I should have told them, considering it's the time machine. Let me race out and let them know. Hey, you're going to get a letter. That would really freak them out.
Oh, yeah.
Wyatt Grantham Phillips from the AP is a business writer, put the article together, and it's posted at abcnews.go.com. The video has nothing to do with this, so I don't know why it's there, but I think they have to do something. They have to put a picture. They have to put a
I guess, but sometimes it might be better to have nothing when it doesn't relate.
Yeah. So the front power seat motor on the affected Tellurides from the 2020 to 2024 models, all of them, may overheat because of a stuck slide knob. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, that could potentially result in a fire while the car is parked or being driven. Kia made the decision to recall the vehicles on May 29th, NHTSA documents published Friday show, after receiving a report of one under-seat fire and 6 incidents of localized melting in the seat tilt motor between August 2022 and March 2024.
Melting in your car is never a good thing.
But if you add an S, smelting is even worse. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, just last fall, Kia and Hyundai announced previous park outside recalls for 3.4 million other cars and SUVs due to the danger of engine compartment fires. We have talked about these pretty much every year that ohmTown Daily News Show has been operational for the public. Every time.
Well, Kia is having a rough year too, right? Because they were part of that major theft issue because they didn't have anti-theft protections on some models.
Yeah, and some places that are manufacturing parts for Hyundai are employing children. So let's move on. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. This skinny house is so narrow that some people with spider monkey arms can touch both walls at once, and its price just fell again. Let's
This is exaggeration.
No, this is the house that we talked about a little while ago. They changed the zoning laws so that it could actually fit in the lot. Washington, D.C. developer was forced to build a skinny home 6 feet wide at its narrowest point. Zoning laws made it hard to build any bigger on the 0.02 acre property. It's basically a parking lot. A parking spot, I should say. The narrow home was listed for $800,000. It's now at $570,000. And at some point, it's going to become sexy enough for somebody to buy because it's in Washington, D.C. Not this mayor. But we talked about this when it was first shown. I think it was just a few months ago. Jordan Pandy over at Business Insider put the article together. I like it.
I think it's a cool looking house.
Yeah, if it had a rooftop deck, which I think it does, then I'd really be on board because it doesn't really snow in DC. Every once in a while there might be something, but it's usually just rainy and windy. So a rooftop deck would be really cool, and it might be higher than everything else, so I can just wear my gold thong. No?
Can jump into the neighbor's pool.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Jennifer Young, the home's listing agent, see, I wouldn't be able to buy it because I said that, and people, the neighborhood, the HOA would protest. No, Mayor Watt.
They'd go, no.
I could just turn it into the mayoral studio for the show, but I'd have to fly from ohmTown to Washington, D.C.
Every day.
Yeah. It literally came down to sometimes a centimeter of getting the exact measurements right to both comply with DC zoning and build a really nice home that was functional, Young told Business Insider. But I don't care. You see, that's the problem. I don't care that it had to be this or that to meet zoning. If it just isn't a worthwhile house at that price, then I don't care. Nobody's going to buy it. But remember, that other house was purchased where it was subsurface to the curve of the road. It was literally built over the aqueduct.
Right. Was that in California?
I'm not sure where that was either. That might have been over there too. I'm not sure. I can't remember. So, tasked with figuring out how to build a narrow home on a driveway in between two alleys, told the Washington Post that the design went through many iterations and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So that's what it looks like, folks. The pad for the garage is wider than the house itself. Oh, and it's actually a full 20 feet lower than the surrounding neighbor. So yeah, this whole floor right here of, I don't know, maybe condos or office space, I'd have to look it up, would get full frontal Mayor Watt in a gold thong. Talk about driving property values down.
Well, that might eliminate people looking in at your property.
Is all of this their recycling and trash?
I'm
Is that
not
builder
sure.
stuff? That's a lot.
It looks like it, but I'm wondering if some of it's from the other property.
They purchased the lot for $200,000. They tried to sell it for $800,000. They probably put in $400,000 worth of work. But they're not going to make their money back until somebody...
Unless they just like it for novelty.
I suppose. Bringing materials in was not the only challenge. Something also told or had to get creative when finding spaces for basics inside. So like the toilet paper roll is like a serious arm stretch away from the toilet. And when, let's say you're married, you have a significant other, if you're on the john and your significant other comes in to wash their hands, your butt is going to be directly on their face. Now
it's like a little tight quarters.
I'm pretty close. I'm never going to be that close. There's a time and a place for everything, and it's never a time or place. Anyway, yeah. There's more to this article, but the time machine is starting to heat up, and the sensors are going off.
Yes, they did do a good job with the photography, though, because it gives it looks pretty light and spacious for being such a tiny home.
True. Let me back up before. Yeah, that you have to admit that they did a really good job. They shot it kind of like from the bulldog perspective, really low, like a toddler would see the world.
Oh, okay.
So yes. Everything is larger than life. Like, oh my God, this building is so huge. And then you stand up and you're, oh, the Wayfair house.
I was going to say that I bet they hired the firm that did the Wayfair's product photography.
Yeah. All of the furniture in here is like from Wayfair. The thing, it's an inside joke. Because like this, if you were to buy this chair from like Home Depot or anywhere other than Wayfair, the measurements and the armrest widths and everything would be or not widths, but the measurements would fit like an adult sized couch or chair or whatever, right? But then when you actually plop it on your deck or in your living room, everything seems smaller. Like the back is narrower, the armrests are not like this wide, they're that wide. Everything seems to be for an elf.
Like so this Dobby. Is interesting on the deck. It looks like if you stretched your legs out, you'd possibly be touching the house, like from the chair.
But it makes me think that each one of these boards is only 2 inches wide. So it's only like 3 feet from here.
Do you think you have to walk sideways down the deck?
Shimmy sideways.
That could make your grilling time a little awkward.
This down here,
or unsafe too.
Yeah. You have to butter your hips.
Stand on the grill to go past it or whatever.
Hot. Yeah, if you're gonna get past this grill, here, put this on, and it's like a fire suit, so you can get past it. Okay, we got to keep going. This is insane. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Sports Illustrated's ex-publisher wants $200 million from Authentic Brands Group, saying it stole website and employees. Look, you can't steal employees, okay? Owning a human is illegal. You're no longer allowed to do that. So, the Arena Group lost its license to publish Sports Illustrated after a takeover by 5 Hour Energy owner Manoj Bhargava. That is
Did the takeover
rough.
Only take 5 hours?
Wow. That's pretty funny. Get out. No, Bhargava's odd remarks confused and unsettled some employees of the storied sports brand. But Arena's lawsuit says Authentic and Sports Illustrated's new publisher plotted to poach employees and website content. The former publisher of Sports Illustrated has filed a $200 million counterpunch, I guess. It's called a countersuit. I don't know if AI...
I'm not sure what a counterpunch is in legal terms.
Maybe, I guess it's a lawsuit. The magazine's new publisher and owner of its intellectual property. So I don't quite get it. What? It was a hostile takeover. And so one company took over the other, But wow. I don't know if you can actually call it conspiracy. So let's see what's going on here. Jack Newsham and Laura Italiano over at Business Insider put the article together. And yeah, it says Arena's lawsuit says that Authentic Brands and Sports Illustrated's new publisher plotted to poach employees and content. But you can't really poach accusing him of acting like a gangster in their negotiations. ABG awarded the publishing license to Minute Media and sued Bargava for $49 million, accusing him of acting like a gangster in their negotiations. That's just being a strong business person. I don't think it really matters what you act like. You could be a complete jerk, but if somebody wants your money and not you, then you're out, right?
And I didn't know there was a law about like posing like a gangster, acting like a gangster. Kind of different.
Yeah, okay, so let's back this up a little bit. In late 2023, the Arena Group lost the rights to publish SI, Sports Illustrated. They keep abbreviating it as SI. Its best known brand after the 5 Hour Energy creator Manoj Bhargava took over Arena and missed a licensing payment to Authentic Brands Group. Oh.
Okay, now this is making more sense.
Yeah, okay. Wow, that's really interesting. Because then Bhargava apparently, right? That's what that reads like.
It's a very confusing set of facts.
Arena Group lost its license to publish SI after a takeover by 5 Hour Energy's Manoj Bhargava, but that's not what that says. Right? The Arena Group lost its rights to publish SI, its best known brand, after the 5 Hour Energy creator Manoj Bhargava took over Arena and missed a licensing payment to Authentic Brands Group. So ABG awarded the publishing license to Minute Media and sued Bhargava for $49 million, accusing him of acting like a gangster in their negotiations. On Friday, Bhargava and his company hit back, and they're seeking $200 million for what they claim was a plot by ABG and Minute Media to string the Arena Group along while making copies of its websites and laying the groundwork to poach its employees and biggest spenders. So it's not really I don't understand. Manoj Bhargava started to run Arena Group,
right?
And then
which that doesn't seem to have anything to do with anything. Yeah. Yes, it's that what happened in the aftermath of that.
Is it just the way that it's written that makes it sound like 5 Hour Energy like was a hostile takeover? Because that's what this says, right? Right? After a takeover
it's like the takeover to me, I don't think is related to anything. It just set everything in motion.
Yeah, because Bhargava, Arena Group failed to publish or pay for the licensing, which is in and of itself weird.
I mean, for example, if they've been working with them for years, like,
was this an oops?
Did they give them any notice, etc.? I mean, it just seems like something's kind of out of whack here.
Yeah, they missed a payment to Authentic Brands Group, and then Authentic Brands Group awarded the publishing license to Minute Media and sued Bhargava for $49 million. But I don't know if they're suing them for $49 million because they didn't pay the licensing agreement. Probably.
Oh, I see. Right. It could just be that's the amount.
Not because they were acting like a jerk.
Right. Right.
It's interesting writing, really, what I'm getting at. So ABG deceived Arena by promising to work with Arena in good faith to renegotiate Arena's license so as to allow Arena to continue to operate Sports Illustrated. Privately, ABG and Minute had been partnered for weeks, conspiring to steal Arena's code and publisher relationships, which, again, if this is true, then yeah, it's basically corporate espionage. And then stealing trade secrets and the technology is still owned by somebody else.
Yeah, and it makes you think that if some of that stuff happened before the
Right.
license dropped, it's like, well, wait a second, what was going on here?
Yeah, you don't own the infrastructure. The license doesn't give you carte blanche to take everything, unless it does, and we just don't know, which is really the odd thing, right? I mean, we're talking about this from beyond arm's length, looking at the contract. And so, how did they get all of the infrastructure? How did they conspire to get publisher relationships? Like, it's not like the thing is so vast that no one knows anybody else. Everybody knows everybody else in this area, so it's going to be
Well, and
pretty
why
easy.
would ABG try to be working with somebody else if they assume that Arena still needs the license, etc.? Like, there has to be more to that.
Yeah. So it says it's amazing that CVC Capital and BlackRock would condone this type of corporate behavior. Are you kidding me? They're venture capitalists. BlackRock, for crying out loud, they'll tear your company apart and sell it for parts. Because of this type of interaction, it's too heavy-handed, it's too friction prone, it's too much of a burden on somebody's profitability. I don't want to sit there and spend hours babysitting this. If I was BlackRock, I would probably just sell it all for parts and move on. Not me. I'm not BlackRock. Me, I would find an amicable solution to this. At least one that actually makes economic sense. Pushing it over to somewhere else burns a whole lot of money and a whole lot of goodwill. So Bargava has a history of aggressive legal action. In 2012, Forbes' profile noted that he had already filed more than 90 lawsuits. Bargava, who made billions selling 5-hour energy drinks, showed Forbes reporter a cemetery bookcase in his office lined with energy shot bottles from competitors his company had sued or legally bullied out of the market, calling them the gravestones of his vanquished rivals.
Well, that's certainly
One way
playing
of it.
into how he's characterized, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a $45 million termination fee. Like I said, yeah. So, I would suspect. See, I would never be able to do business with Bargava because I think it's sociopathic to do that. Stick in that. Why lean on that? If somebody, I understand if somebody like stole your recipe verbatim because they had an insider be able to steal your recipe. But if I come confusingly close to your recipe, I have no insider information. Kiss my ass. I'll build whatever drink I want. But I don't really buy into energy drinks, so I guess I'll never be sued by Bargava for stealing his energy drink.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't call that a guarantee.
Yeah, it's interesting. Arena's founders who claimed he mounted a fraudulent coup to enrich himself at the expense of Arena and other shareholders, according to Front Office Sports. This is Ross Levinson, the Arena CEO who was fired in 2023 when Bargava took over, has also sued Arena, claiming that he was retaliated against. Shortly thereafter, Levinson, who became the CEO of Arena in 2020, became the target of a lawsuit filed by Arena's founders who claim he mounted a fraudulent coup to enrich himself at the expense of Arena and other shareholders. This is just...
There's a lot going on based
Yeah.
on one company taking over.
And it's really just one person. It's really like a litigious person, right? By their own distinction, their own processes, going after people. Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. It's very Mean Girls. Everything involved in this is very Mean Girls.
Yes, it does sound like that.
Okay, let's keep going, though. Social Security error declares woman dead as she finds her bank accounts frozen. My heirs know that I'm alive, and I plan to stay that way for quite some time, says a 77-year-old woman. This is almost like the article that I nixed from day before yesterday's show, where a woman apparently was declared dead, but during her preparation at the funeral home
Oh,
was
yes.
discovered to be very much alive. And so the article here is over at Newsweek. Jordan King is the author, and they're a freelance reporter, just so everybody knows. Christine Rao from Littleton, Colorado, only discovered that what happened after she tried to log into her bank accounts. She was declared dead by Social Security when they found her bank accounts frozen. Her medical aid plan was closed and a follow-up surgery appointment canceled. Oh my God.
Wow. I mean, this is getting kind of drastic.
Well, it almost, can you imagine? They go to do the surgery and she dies. And so they were like, oh, well, no harm, no foul, right? Because she was already, it was a preemptive strike.
Right, right.
When she subsequently called her bank and her call was passed to a supervisor, they reportedly told her literally, I'm sorry, but you're deceased. Your accounts are closed.
Okay. You know, I get that somebody's reading a screen, but maybe they could say something like, there might be an error here. The computer says this, you know? Like,
why does she look like Martha Stewart?
She looks exactly like her. When you flipped the photo up, I thought it was Martha Stewart. Like, Martha. She looks very similar to her.
Has that same smile. She also
looks like somebody else, actually.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's another actor. Oh, what is her name? It's okay. I'll move on. I won't focus on it. So a photograph of a letter dated May 10th reads, Medicare recently informed us of the death of Christine Rowe. We're very sorry for your loss and understand this is a difficult time.
Can you imagine like if a family member got that letter
in a vacuum?
That could really be horrible.
Yeah.
But I also think this might be one of these where somebody with the same name, for example, might be deceased and they have the people mixed up in their records.
She said another fear is the subtle things, people that I'm not remembering to contact, like, is my driver's license valid? Is my car insurance valid? They could not explain, the Social Security Administration could not explain what happened in Roe's case for privacy reasons. So they couldn't say what happened. But you know what? It's a screw up. And if it's a screw up like that, hey, we screwed up. Somebody hit the wrong character in the submission of the Social Security number. If the source of the problem is the Social Security Administration, there is a log of somebody typing in that person's Social Security number and marking it as deceased. That's how it works.
Exactly. And what was that based on?
Right. Somebody.
And the problem with that is, like, that could take years to unsnarl, right? Like, if they're getting Social Security payments or.
Yeah. Particularly if it's a transactional method where once it's triggered, it starts cascading through the system. And if it's reactivated, like, good luck
getting it back.
Yeah, it doesn't flip the bit the other way. Yeah. Wow. And you know what they're gonna go? They're gonna, oh, sorry about that. But then she's gonna be spending the next, the rest of her life chasing down this bullshit. And at 77, who knows how long that's gonna be. And then it'll just correct itself. It's just like Office Space.
Goodness. Except then they really won't know what to do because she'll be deceased twice.
Yeah. What are we going to do? Don't worry. We fixed the problem. Oh my God. Maybe that's the thing. They're going to fix the problem. I'm going to move on. I've said too much. So the next article is over on ohmTown Daily. Let's watch as a drone makes its first delivery on Mount Everest. And I hope that there's actually footage because I'm using a new browser called Arc, which, well, let's take a look. So drone makes first delivery on Mount Everest. I'm going to hit play and I'm going to mute it so I don't get dinged, although I'm still getting copyright notices for videos that I have licensed music on. You know what needs to happen, though? It needs to be the reverse. The drone needs to fly around and pick up trash.
And pick up stuff, yes.
Yeah. Just drop it from there. What? Oh, sorry. It was a cord that was descending.
Well, they don't want it to go into a crevasse or something.
Crevasse. I know. I was trying to make something funny out of that, but so there's this big old drone, and it's flying over the encampment and dropping off stuff like backpacks and supplies and stuff like that. So it's pretty
I mean,
neat.
this could be a real game changer for
Emergency
extreme
services,
sports, right?
And emergency services, yeah. That's all there is to this, by the way. You can follow the link and go and check it out yourself. It's the drone makes delivery on Mount Everest. It's pretty sneak. Let's keep going. Next article is over in Technology Today. Xbox donated to charity shop could fetch thousands. A Green Hulk branded gaming device is being auctioned by the British Heart Foundation. I swear that these Xboxes were part of the Taco Bell. You had the ability to win these when you ordered certain things from Taco Bell, but maybe not. A rare Hulk Xbox is going up for auction. Marcus White over at BBC put the article together. The article's title is Xbox donated to charity shop could fetch thousands. And that's what it looks like. Let's see. A rare Xbox console that was gifted to a charity shop could fetch thousands of pounds at auction, which I think is great. 2003 Hulk superhero film is one of only 50 ever made, the British Heart Foundation said. So I guess it wasn't that. Or maybe it was. Yeah. Oh. Mr. Smith said the device was only available as a prize in a UK cinema scratch card competition.
So it's really rare. You couldn't even buy it.
Right. There was some other thing. Hold on a second. I'm going to look it up.
Here, it says that they made one for Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Taco Bell did have one for Xbox as well, but I don't know. Oh wait, let me see if I can actually see the picture. Oh no. Oh, it looks like it's a Batman one. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Xbox, a newcomer in console wars. The original Microsoft Xbox was released in Europe in 2002 and was the company's first dedicated games machine. It sold 24 million units worldwide. My understanding is it's actually sold at a loss to get their foot into the door, and then all of these exclusive games that are sold through the Xbox platform and just games sold through the Xbox platform is a revenue generator. So it competed against Sony's PlayStation 2, Nintendo's GameCube, Sega Dreamcast, which itself used Microsoft Windows to run some games. Launch titles included Halo, Combat Evolved, Project Gotham Racing, Dead or Alive 3. So that's what it looks like. It's more like a lime green than it is a dark Hulk green, but I guess that's the color they went with. I guess if you're a collector of these console things, you go with it. Pretty wild. Okay, AI, I am warning you. The next one, it has some horror game discussion. So,
Uh-oh.
Are you ready to go on to the next one? Have you steeled yourself for
I am ready.
horror games? Okay, so BlumHouse. It's over on the continuity report, but BlumHouse opens a window on its horror video game slate. Several games are being released by BlumHouse as they move into the gaming industry. From creating Megan and Five Nights at Freddy's movie, it's making horror video games as well. They released, I think, 6 of them. The full lineup includes Fear of Spotlight, Chrysol, Theater of Idols, Grave Seasons, Sleep Awake, Project C, an apparent code name. But it was quite an interest to see BlumHouse pop up out of nowhere for video games. I didn't know that this was going to happen. I'm sure other people did, but I thought it was really interesting. Jennifer Zahn over at vulture.com put the article together. If you've never seen Megan, you should watch Megan. It's an interesting thing. The way that they filmed that is kind of surreal. I couldn't figure out if Megan was real or computer graphics. But apparently it was prosthetics and real most of the time. And then when it did supernatural stuff, obviously it wasn't. But there was an actor. Let's see here. One of the most interesting ones, and I can't remember which one it is a pixelated farming and town simulator with a supernatural serial killer.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it might have been. Hold on. I don't think it's this. It might be Grave Seasons. I'm not sure. I really don't know anymore. And I watched this. So. BlumHouse Games says its focus on indie budget or below $10 million projects for console, PC, and mobile audiences. Fear the Spotlight will drop later this year, while the other titles are still in development. You can console yourself with previews of what's coming up. There's a clip up in the article, so go over to vulture.com. But to get there, you can follow the road from ohmTown, because all roads lead to ohmTown and back out to the various sources. In this case, BlumHouse Games Summer Game Fest 2024 reveal is over on YouTube, but to watch it and give credit where credit is due, swing by vulture.com and mash the link. I don't think they get credit for that when you go there, but when you visit their page, they see that you're following a link from ohmTown. Anyway, that's all 10 of our articles for the Time Machine episode. It is extremely hot, so we're going to have to bow out pretty quick. But to do that, we always race all the way back up to the welcome sign of ohmTown, and we rapidly, almost supernaturally, look left and right at all of the articles that we've done up until number 10. Whew. Oh, man. My neck is hurting looking left and right so fast. Are you done? Did you want to talk about anything else? Oh, great AI from the future.
Well, I think our time machine is winding down, so no, but you need to come back shortly because we'll have an episode for June 8th, and we have the weekly shows coming up too.
Yep, so we're going to kick off the ohmTown Daily News Show for June 8th. You know, it's hard to fake it when there's something that's exposing June 8th. Anyway, we'll be right back. Give us about 15 minutes to reset real quick and get a glass of water and cool off the time machine so it doesn't melt down the lab. We'll see you in a little bit.